This tweet explains a lot. It shows the percentage of national wealth owned by the three big generations. The baby boomers, born 1946 to 64, Gen X, born 1965 to 80, and the millennials, born 1980 to 2000. It quickly went viral and got retweeted more than 20,000 times. But does it really explain a lot? Today is World Literacy Day, and this tweet is delicately balanced on the side of being illiterate. So today we look at the key logical error we tend to make when looking at and retweeting graphs like this. It shows up in our personal finance strategies in a very dangerous way. So we'll end the video with some important fixes you could make. If you're in your 20s and looking to build your wealth alongside your financial literacy, don't miss it. First, what does the graph think it explains? The message with these statistics is usually one of inequality, that the boomer generation is holding a lion's share of the national wealth, leaving very little for millennials. Not just that, it also spreads the popular idea that older generations had it much easier, and that it is becoming harder and harder to accumulate wealth these days as a young person. But the graph makes two big mistakes of financial literacy when it comes to analyzing cohorts. Mistake 1, not accounting for population size, and mistake 2, misrepresenting the comparability of age cohorts. If these two mistakes are fixed, the graph looks very different. Now this graph explains a lot. First, it explains that by the time Gen X got to its late 40s, it became 30% richer than boomers. Next, it explains that millennials haven't had a single year's overlap with boomers. Third, millennials are tracking the exact trajectory that Gen X followed. That means by the time the year 2035 comes by, the millennials will start overtaking the previous generations in terms of percentage wealth owned. Now back to this tweet. Faulty tweetonomics is unfortunately a self-fulfilling prophecy. Drawing mistaken conclusions will lead to poor financial decisions that yield suboptimal outcomes, hence proving that the conclusion was actually true. The lack of financial literacy in this graph leads to three big errors in personal finances that anyone in their 20s should be careful about. 1. Poor credit. Pessimism about percentage share of wealth causes poor credit habits, like defaulting or deferring student loans, maxing out credit cards, and taking out new loans to finance expensive lifestyles that are unaffordable. 2. Poor budgeting. If the future is not bright, then savings behavior automatically drops off, as we start to prefer immediate consumption over consumption at a later date. If the exercise of wealth building is pointless, we'd rather just spend everything today. Our budgeting becomes unsustainable. 3. Poor investing. Even if we do save, we don't redeploy those funds into long-term investments. We look for short-term gains and quick profits. So we play the stock market instead of investing wisely in a balanced and diversified portfolio. An asset like your home needs investment and sacrificing right from your 20s, as a 20-year game that pays off with a massive asset at the end. If you find any of these behaviors familiar, don't worry. We've got the perfect financial expertise for you. Find out for yourselves at MyMoneyKarma.com, where we will certainly explain a lot.